Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday. Happy opening night eve. We're just going to call it because we got here. We got here. We did it, you guys. I don't want to count chicken before eggs, but it's pretty exciting. I'm feeling the energy. I'm excited to see the Yankees and the Nationals square off tomorrow night. I'm excited to see the San Francisco Giants take on the LA Dodgers tomorrow night. Who you guys got in those matchups? Who's going to be the victor in both those if you had to choose?
I'll go Yankees because, why not?
I think that we're gonna see Mad Max come out and perform. I think the Nationals are gonna keep the momentum from the World Series. Is gonna be a big one for them coming out. I know they're usually really pumped up, even though there's not gonna be any fans. And I got the Dodgers. Rumblings about a big signing for them and Mookie Betts on Twitter right now, 10 years, $350 million. They're coming out strong. I don't think they're missing a beat. They've been laying very low. I think they're coming out to play, but it's going to be exciting. If there is no game tomorrow, I don't even want to think about what has to happen between now and then, but at least we're going to get one game. So it's exciting. It's exciting because I think there's a lot of hard work. We're focusing a lot on the players because obviously there are the focus of the games, but there's been so much hard work from team members, from media, from teams, just putting this logistics from medicine, from doctors, nurses, people that we don't even know. There are so many people to think just to have these guys on the field that it's been a big project for them to be able to make it. So good for them.
Absolutely. And I commend everyone for getting to this point. Everyone from front office workers to stadium workers and employees, ballpark employees, MLB employees, the actual players, the managers, the coaches, and all of the broadcast teams who are continuously sort of going with the flow of the wind and covering whatever the news of the day is. As we are, Jen and Ozzy, always a pleasure to be here with you guys. Just to let everyone know who is watching, we have an entire opening day slate, opening week slate, really. We've got programming that starts tomorrow and extends until Friday from 10:30 a.m. to noon Pacific, 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern. And we've got interviews. We're going to be talking to baseball insiders, writers, ex-players, coaches, managers, and we have an entire lineup. So please tune in and check us out. And we also want to know who you guys think is going to win those opening night duels. Please let us know on Twitter. Will it be the Yankees? Will it be the Nationals or the Giants or possibly the Dodgers, as Ozzy mentioned? Nearing a 10-year deal with Mookie Betts for $350 million. That is not a small bag, people. So let us know, our poll of the day, who you think is going to win. And let's get into our show. We've got the Washington Nationals coming out with a statement, if you want to call it that. Dr. Fauci, head of infectious diseases and one of the heroes of this coronavirus pandemic, he's been given the honor of throwing out the first pitch at Nationals Park.
Yeah, I think that is it's quite a statement being in DC, and we all know that's a statement. They had Chef Jose Andres, remember, during the World Series, and that was also like a slap in the face of the administration. I'm happy that they are choosing to back science, right?
He's a big fan. I think that if they went and got him from another team, I think that the team would try to be playing games. He deserves it, If you believe it or not, the science behind him, he is one of the top 3 guys in the world that knows what's going on. Okay, he's got the backing of education, and he's a fan. He's a Nationals fan, so it kind of works out together for both to give him this honor because, other than his inner circle and in government, he's become someone that is now a name. For better or for worse, for whatever, he's a face of this. He's a guy that has been in the front of this, and I think that obviously they're just honoring him because he's an important person, and why not? He's from the Nationals, and he's talked about baseball, so he's also somebody that we know loves baseball because he could have been worried and not talk about any sports or anything, but he specifically talked about baseball. All his conversations about sports or entertainment were all directed to baseball. And baseball, he talked about how he would want it back. So he is a fan. So I'm glad they picked him. Why not him? He deserves it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I will say personally, having worked for the team, this is a very progressive ownership group, a very progressive front office. I love they made this move. It's a little cheeky, and I am here for it. So I just hope the pitch is good. I hope it's a good pitch.
Yeah, same. I hope.
What I mean?
I hope it's not 50 Cent. Like,
I was just gonna say 50 Cent. That's a perfect example.
Nah, this guy's a baseball fan. He's gonna throw a perfect strike. He knows he plays catch. He'll be all right. He'll be good. He'll be good. I just want to know that mask he's gonna wear. They better have a lot of them made because that's probably gonna go viral and people are going to. And I hope they use it for a positive part. But he deserves it though. He deserves it. It's somebody.
He should just wear a mask that says "Wear a mask."
You know what? I'm surprised. I'm surprised more athletes and players haven't done it. We can talk about that in another segment. I'm still going to bash the White Sox on this. I'm like, get cooler masks, man. All the kids are wearing it. What a marketing opportunity, to do it. I'm like, why is this coach going up there with like a blue boring mask? I'm like, have like a team one, like I have a cooler mask than you do. So I think that, it's going to be something that's going to be here for a while because we don't know. So I think, in the whole mask situation, even from playing, if I was a guy right now and I knew that I wasn't comfortable wearing it while I'm playing, I'd take at bats on my days in between and see if I can get used to it because you don't know. Again, you have to prepare yourself. They can come out tomorrow and say every player has to have it, okay, on the field. So you have to start preparing yourself. So again, I think it's something that find the one that's comfortable for you because that's what we have to do right now.
Yep.
True that. And I don't like the bandana masks. Like get out of here with that. No. Real mask. You're just putting your shirt up over your nose.
Listen, I've seen people walk into the pharmacy with a sweater around their face.
I know. It's a conversation.
I'm sorry, I'm not judging. At least you're covering your face, but
at least you're covering. Listen, beggars can't be choosers. Let's talk about Monday night summer camp games and specifically the one between the San Francisco Giants and the Oakland Athletics, where we saw brand new San Francisco Giants manager Gabe Kapler and a handful of players take a knee for the national anthem in solidarity with the social justice movement, with Black Lives Matter. And this was something that really resonated throughout the world of social media. I think I logged on to Twitter and I saw hashtag MLB is over or like MLB, cancel MLB.
Cancel MLB. Like, it's like, well, you're not going to the games anyway. So how are you canceling it?
But this is something, and aside from the sort of social backlash from the national anthem police, this is a bigger conversation. Gabe Kapler, who I had the opportunity to speak with, takes this very seriously. We have a clip from that interview that I did for Sports Hiatus and NYVC Sports, and we will be playing the interview in its entirety at some point tomorrow or Friday. But I just want to play this one clip just so you can get an insight into what his positioning is and how he sees his platform and the need to take a stand or a knee in this case. Watch this.
Racism just didn't play in my house, and my dad was super strong on that. He was super strong on listening to Black people and being an amplifying voice for the issues that they face that white people don't. And that, like, I think he understood his privilege as a white man, and I'm learning more about my privilege as a white man in a position of relative power in a baseball organization, and how important it is for me to amplify Black voices and the issues that they face that I don't. And so this movement, the spotlight on systemic racism, the spotlight on racial injustice, the spotlight on police brutality, really demonstrated how important it was for us to use our platforms, those of us who have them. And I feel like it's just critical that we take these times seriously and not shy away from the most difficult conversations and use any way we can to get messages out right now. I mean, I also think equally important is that we don't let baseball become so almost like stop the most important things from being talked about. Because we're going to get so caught up in this baseball world because opening day is going to come, that's not an excuse to stop talking about systemic racism. It's actually an opportunity to talk about it when you have the most eyeballs on you. So I think that's the thing that's important to me now, is just remembering that we have to continue to use our platform, and we don't get to just focus on baseball right now. It's not okay. Racism.
Well, I'm a fan. And Gabe Kapler, thank you for your transparency and for letting us know why this is so important. He goes on to say, and before that clip started, he talks about how he was brought up in a family where it was talked about, the white privilege, the fact that he and his father, who are white males, had opportunities that others do not. And he talks about how his parents met at a civil rights rally back in the 60s. This is something that was ingrained in him, to speak out against injustice, to take a stand and speak and amplify voices when others can't. And I absolutely commend him for doing this, for meeting with his team, and for really having this conversation, this tough conversation.
I think
Go ahead, Ozzy.
I think that, regardless of what Gabe Kapler and what you think about his actions in the past, you need to commend him, because number one, he is an individual. And if he was a player, it'd be very easy for him to make a decision and say, I want to do whatever. And that's on you. Okay. You're a player. It's your brand. But for him to do it as a manager, okay, a first-year manager, you're representing an organization, you're representing the players. And that's a very easy way to break up a clubhouse, because you need to make sure that everyone's on the same page, not meaning that everyone's going to take a knee, but that everyone's okay with everyone expressing their feelings. Okay. And I love the fact that he said, this is why I'm doing it. And there's other guys that are doing it for other reasons, because I think what this opens up with right now, the movement is police brutality, and Colin Kaepernick opened up the doors. Okay. But let's say that moving forward, a player wants to take a stand because he is very something about LGBT or any cause for that matter. And you feel like you want to do something as a person. We cannot get mad at that person for doing that. So I think that this is like opening the doors in pro sports for people to let them know, using their platform to bring eyes, because again, they're bringing up a platform to be able to do it. So now more people, maybe more Giants fans, are going to listen and say, man, I'm really going to do my research and really look into this, of what about the police brutality. So for him to be able to do that and talk to every single player, make sure that his team was in the right page and didn't do it after the fact, because a lot of people do it after the fact, after everyone in the clubhouse is mad. Why are we doing this? He made sure that everyone was okay. So kudos to Gabe Kapler, and kudos. He mentioned something that was very strong. He said, we support those that want to take a knee, that don't want to take a knee, because they're saying we support anything that you think about. And he said there was nothing more patriotic than having a peaceful protest. So he had a lot of really good points. So kudos to him, because I know it's not easy, especially in the game of baseball, to be that first person to do that. And I think now it's easier for other managers to say, okay, Gabe did it this way. This is the right way, because a lot of teams are thinking this. Do I do it? Do I not do it? Do I feel bad? Do I have to do it? So these are things that do have to be addressed in this crazy year of 2020 that has been.
I also hope that he doesn't feel the need to continually have to explain himself. And that goes for everyone who is protesting in their own way. I saw a couple of the players who had protested and they were on Twitter getting backlash, and then they feel the need to explain themselves. And I feel like at this point, if you don't want to understand what it is that they're doing, you don't want to, Google is your friend, then you just want to be willfully ignorant. I think the players and coaches and anyone who wants to protest in their own way at this point, having experienced the past few months, you don't have to explain yourself. Do what you got to do what you feel is right for you. And those who don't like it, well, oh well.
I don't know why the media wants to. He did it. He already said why. If someone does something at this point, okay, and in baseball, we've had this in the past. There's people that, because of religious purposes, they don't stand up for the national anthem. Mm-hmm. And for the guy that was new and he would say, why is X player not here? It's like, hey, man, his religion won't let him do this. Okay, just like if there's pork in the clubhouse, there's players that don't eat pork for religious reasons or whatever reason. It's just something it's a part of the player. So you want to be comfortable and you want your team to feel comfortable, whatever it is that they want to do. So for him to do that, I really hope that, everyone that does it, the player gets asked, oh, why are you doing this? Okay, give us your reason why. Because again, you could be doing it for Venezuelan players, can be doing it because of what's happening in Venezuela. I think that the national anthem, I think that if the national anthem meant something before Colin Kaepernick, I think that now after Colin Kaepernick, I think that because of the athletes having the cameras all being on them it's a platform to bring awareness to whatever it is, even without having disrespect. So I think that it's like the evolution of what the national anthem is, and it's something that, you know, it's just changing in sports. And I think that if we fast forward 100 years, they're going to be looking back and saying the moment that it all changed. I think it's just really hard seeing it right now in front of us. But kudos to them and kudos to the guys. I think that, you know, having that conversation among teammates is what was needed, because I think that was a topic in baseball that was just very always hush hush, and people didn't want to really know what people were thinking.
Mm-hmm. I also think that at this point, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. What I was going to say is not everybody who doesn't kneel doesn't necessarily mean that they are not for the movement. And we had this conversation between us off camera. And I think that's something that needs to be made clear as well. Just because you don't kneel doesn't necessarily mean you're not about it, right? And you're not for this movement and for equal justice on all levels. And I think that's an important conversation to be had as well, along the lines of why are you kneeling? It's also, you know, important to note, just because you're not kneeling doesn't mean you're not for the cause.
Yeah.
So this is
absolutely
funny. I have a question for you guys, and this is fun for the people that want to cancel the national anthem, okay? Because everyone has they go crazy when someone takes a knee, okay? And we all know the history that it was somebody in the services that told Kaepernick to do it. So would it be any different, okay, for the people that are going crazy if all the players held a sign and said Black Lives Matter against police brutality, like literally holding a sign? People would still be mad. So it's like if they don't.
They would say it's a sacred moment. They would say
correct. If they put a hand up, okay, which no one's done yet, which I think would be one of my favorite moments in sports. Carlo, you know, in the Olympics, putting his hand up. That was a great picture for the movement. But I'm saying people need to realize that anything these players do, this is just the most popular one. I was just reading one that was really cool. They put their hands behind their backs. One of the players have been doing it for a while. Their coach took up on it. So these are all things these are going to become the handshakes. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. So people need to realize that there's guys that are protesting this that are not taking the knee. You know, and that's what people need to realize, that there's guys amongst that team. Teammates are very close, okay? And this is where I think the NFL dropped the ball, and especially Kaepernick's teammates, because they should have came out and said, no, we support what Colin's doing. He's just taking a knee, but I'm thinking it, and it's happening. So I really think that in baseball right now, everyone's just having that conversation. And a great example of that is Amir Garrett and Joey Votto. Joey Votto saying, I am educating myself because I'm not affected by this. You know, that's something that people need to realize. There's guys that are just don't really think about it because they're not affected. But once you start looking into it and talking to your teammates, you're like, man, this is a big deal for these guys. And I think that he's been a great example of that in Cincinnati Reds.
Absolutely. And Joey Votto, as you mentioned, Amir Garrett, also players from the Reds who took a knee. And there you see that photo of Joey Votto, as well as a bunch of his teammates wearing Black Lives Matter t-shirts during BP. The guy that you mentioned, Ozzy, who is taking a stand as a minor leaguer in the Padres organization, Taylor Trammell. He's a Black player who is engaged in silent protest of just standing with his hands behind his back. First-time manager, and Padres manager Jace Tingler has adopted that, and he will be doing that for the remainder of this season, is standing with his hands behind his back, which, by the way, is a huge statement here in San Diego. It's a huge military town, so anything that is out of the ordinary will certainly have a lot of eyeballs on it. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. San Francisco Giants also making history on Monday night with Miss Alyssa Nakken, the first female to coach an MLB game. Yes, she came in the later innings, but she coached first base. And Jennifer, you had a chance to catch up with her during spring training.
Yeah, we, Ozzy and I actually were there, and we walked on the field and we saw Alyssa out there with the players, and we're like, hey, that's Alyssa Nakken, you know, and it was really, really cool to see. It was really nice to see her interact with the players, and just like she says in the interview, she was just one of the guys. And so I'm really happy for her, and that this moment is finally happening, right? Because we finally get to have baseball, but we do actually get other moments aside from just the Black Lives Matter movement. Also that is part of the story about, you know, equality in sports. The first female coach in Major League history. I think it's awesome.
I love it. You know, I felt very different. I've never felt awkward in a baseball field because I've seen it all. I grew up in the game. And when I saw her in spring training, I had an aha moment of like, oh my God, that's her. I'm watching, like, this is her. And I literally watched her interact because I was so intrigued. and it's so ignorant because she's just probably just a coach. I wanted to be like, is her hair down? How's she wearing her uniform? Like, I thought it was just so cool. And to see her, I watched her all practice, and she was just doing her. And then she actually stopped by Jennifer Asher for an interview, which I thought was probably one of the best interviews we've done. She was so cool. I love this because thank God, number one, they didn't pick somebody off. I was like, I hope that no one run. Everyone stay on first base. Do not get picked off on our first day, because it happens. They're gonna blame this girl. But I love it because I have a daughter, okay, and my daughter is going to be someone that's going to grow up in the game of baseball, okay, and the game of baseball is changing for everyone, okay, meaning you don't have to be a player that's played 50 years in the big leagues to be a coach. So if that's how the game is going to go, then girls should be allowed to be in the game. And I know that, especially in the game of baseball, there's a lot of talented women in coaching, in analytics, in front office. And for her to be there in first base, okay, and for the Giants and for Gabe to be open-minded enough to say, you know what, and the teammates and the players, and say, hey, you're one of us, and let her coach, it's awesome to me, because now I'm thinking 20 years, and I'm like, well, my daughter could be a manager if she wanted to. I think it's all about want, and I think that this young lady wanted, and her dreams did come true. But that opens up the gates, because because we've had this debate when it comes to coaching. I know guys that never played big league baseball, that have never even played college. So I'm like, so at that point, I'm like, what's the difference? I don't care. You're both baseball minds. So to see her doing that, I really wish that nothing else was happening in the world of baseball. No COVID-19. No, it was a perfect world, and all eyes would be on her, because it is such a big moment for the game for her to be there. And hopefully it keeps getting celebrated throughout the whole season.
Absolutely. Well, we have a clip from that interview that Jen did with Alyssa Nacken. We're going to throw to that. When we come back, we will be joined by Jean Fruth, our staff photographer here at La Vida, who has some wonderful opening day photos and memories to share with us. Watch this.
I know it's kind of been a little bit of a whirlwind, probably, with all of the attention that you've been receiving, but what does it mean to you to represent women in sports?
It's an honor that I'm extremely humbled by, and there's been so many women that have paved the way for me to be in this position. Women and men. I've had a lot of support from people in the organization, people outside the organization, friends, family, people I don't know. So I'm so thankful for all of the support, and it's I feel a great sense of responsibility to come in and work hard every single day and do my job and build the relationships and just continue to set a positive example for others and for females.
How have you seen the reception from the players? Is it just any other coach?
Yeah. Today, Barry Bonds actually was here, and we were telling jokes right before outfield practice, and he yelled out, like, you're just one of the guys. And so that's how I feel, just like one of the guys. These players are so inspiring and so energetic, and they make coming to work every single day the best job. I just love feeding off their energy, and they work hard. They have so much experience and backgrounds, and it's been fun to get to know them and just learn more about them.
That was the San Francisco Giants first base coach, Alyssa Nacken, making history. Well, she is a coach, but she was coaching first base on Monday during the later innings. So really cool that Jen had a chance to catch up with her at spring training, the first part of spring training, that is. And now we're joined by Jean Fruth, our staff photographer here at La Vida Baseball. How are you, Jean? Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me. Excited to be here. It's nice to see that interview with Alyssa. That's just terrific. She sure has made history.
Definitely. And representation matters, man. It's to be a young girl and watching her on the field, it's pretty, no matter how old you are, it's pretty monumental. Let's talk about opening day is upon us. What are some of your favorite opening day memories? And we're going to show some of your beautiful opening day photographs just to kind of get everybody in the mood for opening day, get excited, get pumped. You've experienced so many opening days. Where do you think this one will rank amongst those memories?
Well, like you guys, all the opening days that we got to experience, just all the getting there early, seeing the grounds crew setting up the field, painting opening day or opening week on the field, the bunting, the fans arriving early, all of that is just, very exciting for me. And of course, it's going to be very different this year, but for memories of opening days past, just the excitement and the feeling of the season starting is, and everything that goes along with it. And for many years, I went to different ballparks. I started the season with the World Series winners from the previous season. So that was always exciting for me as well, because there's just an extra excitement when the fans are coming back to see their World Series winners and back in their ballpark. And of course, they get their World Series rings, which is very exciting for them, and seeing their faces the first time they get their ring handed to them by either their manager or by the commissioner of baseball. So all those experiences for me made opening day and continue to make opening day very special. This one, of course, is going to be like no other. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure it's a lot of conversation around it, but historic is what it is, isn't it? I mean, before it even begins, history is being made. I mean, just your interview with Alyssa, and look at what she's doing. History is being made, a woman coaching first base. And I feel so proud because it's here in San Francisco, the San Francisco Giants. So I got a chance to document her as well. And then, Gabe, and how brave he was, the manager of the San Francisco Giants. Already as the season begins, history is being made. And it's certainly a lot more than just baseball. I mean, I don't think we're going to feel it, the real, the weight of this season, until probably years from now, when we look back and we say, wow. And the three of us are going to say, wow, we were part of that. We talked about that, and we didn't even know, I think, how heavy it was. We're probably not going to know. I mean, making a light comparison, Woodstock, right? The photographers are there. They're getting paid to go photograph a concert. Not until years later do they look back, and now it's the history of Woodstock 50 years later, and they say, wow, I was there. I was part of that. Look at what happened, and this is a different kind of revolution. We're in the middle of this very crazy pandemic, but also there's some things coming out of it, and baseball is now playing a role, an important role, and they're part of it. We're not just watching; we're participating with guys like Gabe Kapler and women like Alyssa and many others. When you see them kneel and they take a stand, I'm very proud to see players stepping up in a way. All the social media before the season started, some of my favorite players, and I know Jennifer, you follow very closely and participate, and and seeing them take a stand and going beyond baseball, and they're young men doing that. They're not my age, where they can have a different perspective. It's brave. It's so historic. Sorry to be so long-winded.
No, that's fine. I mean, thank you. We appreciate your commentary on all of this, and we also appreciate is the photos that you take throughout the season, particularly opening day. What is it that you look to capture when you're out there, specifically on opening day?
So of course it's just the celebration of the season starting, and teams and ballparks do it differently. And there's going to be some sort of celebration and a ceremony that starts the season, whether it's confetti in the air or a big American flag, or perhaps if it's the World Series winners, they might have a special banner. World Series winners, they have special, those boys, look at them, and they have their rings and, a special uniform just for the opening weekend or opening series, for the World Series winners, special caps and the pride of starting. And then, hope springs eternal. I know it's summer, but it's the hope of the new season for every team starting off to have a chance at making history and their team winning and taking it all.
Any early predictions? Who do you think is going to take it all?
Ooh,
who's it going to be?
Oh, I'm going to say I'm going to get in trouble for this. I'm going Oakland A's. I'm an underdog kind of gal, and I just think with 60 games, anything could happen. So
Absolutely. Anything can happen. It's anybody's game at this point. And it's everyone's game at this point. Jean Frew, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We love your photos. And we're looking forward to opening night tomorrow. If you guys are watching and you're excited for opening night, let us know your favorite opening day memory. You can post it on Twitter, put it in your stories on Instagram, take a little video and share with us. What is your favorite opening day memory? Use the hashtag LVB opening day memory and let us know what it means to you, what your favorite memory was, who won, who was at the game, which teams were you watching, how did you feel, what were you looking for, and let us know and we'll retweet it, we'll reshare it on our social media platforms because we always love to hear from you guys. And also let us know how you'll be watching the games. We're looking forward to it. I know Jen and I cannot wait to see the Yankees take on the Washington Nationals and the Giants take on the Dodgers. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and we will see you tomorrow. Coverage starts at 10:30 a.m. Pacific, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, and we have a whole slate lined up for you with great interviews and awesome opening night content. We'll see you then.